Let's have some real talk this morning. You woke up, you dragged yourself out of bed, and the first thing you reached for was that cup of coffee. Same as yesterday, same as the day before. But here's the thing you might not want to admit out loud. That coffee, it's not hitting the way it used to. Your energy fades by 10 a.m. Your focus isn't sharp. And let's just say, other parts of your morning aren't exactly performing like they did 10 or 20 years ago either. I get it. And I'm not here to judge, I'm here to help, because what if I told you that the cup of coffee you're already drinking every single morning could become one of the most powerful tools in your daily routine? Not by replacing it, not by giving it up, but by adding 5 simple ingredients, things you can find in any grocery store, that can transform that ordinary cup into a blood flow booster, a sustained energy source, and a real vitality supporter. No prescriptions, no expensive supplements from some flashy website, just kitchen ingredients backed by research and something I've seen work firsthand with my own patients. My name is DR.NERITA. I'm a urologist, and I've spent the last 12 years of my career helping men just like you navigate the challenges that come with aging, performance concerns, and everything in between. What I'm about to share with you today isn't theory. It's practical, it's proven, and it could genuinely change how you feel every single day starting tomorrow morning. Now, before we get into it, I have a quick favor to ask. If you find this information helpful, and I think you will, hit that like button. It sounds like a small thing, but it actually makes a huge difference. It helps this video reach other men who need to hear this but might not know to search for it. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community stretches, whether you're in Texas, Toronto, London, Lagos, or anywhere else on the planet. Just say hello. It means more than you know. All right, let's get into the science first, because I think it's important to understand why your coffee alone isn't cutting it anymore. Look, I love coffee. I drink it myself. Caffeine is a remarkable compound. It blocks adenosine receptors in the brain, it sharpens your focus, and it gives you that mental kick to start your day. That part is great. But here's what most people don't realize, especially once you cross that 50-year mark. Coffee on its own starts working against you in ways you don't immediately notice. First, there's the spike and crash cycle. You get that initial surge of energy, and then an hour or two later, you hit a wall. Your blood sugar dips. Your alertness drops, and you're reaching for another cup just to get back to baseline. Second, caffeine causes vasoconstriction. That means it temporarily narrows your blood vessels. When you're 25, your body compensates for that easily. But after 50, your vessels are already less flexible. You're already dealing with what we call endothelial dysfunction, which is just a medical way of saying the inner lining of your blood vessels isn't functioning as smoothly as it should. On top of that, your body is producing less nitric oxide, which is the molecule responsible for telling those blood vessels to relax and open up. And your testosterone, it's been quietly declining for years. So when you put all of that together, drinking plain black coffee after 50 is kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger situation. It covers up the fatigue for an hour, but it's not addressing what's actually going on underneath. Think of your body like a vintage car. It's still a beautiful machine, it's still powerful, but you can't keep running it on low-grade fuel and expect peak performance. It needs premium. And that's exactly what these 5 additions are. They're the premium fuel your body has been asking for, and you probably just didn't know it yet. The best part? This isn't about overhauling your life. This is about being proactive with your self-care using simple items from the grocery store. That's it. Now, I want to take a moment here to talk about why this matters so much, beyond just the biology. Because in 12 years of practice, I've sat across from thousands of men, CEOs who run entire companies, truck drivers who spend weeks on the road, teachers, engineers, retired military, you name it. And no matter what their background is, when performance starts to slip, whether that's energy, focus, or physical performance, it hits them all the same way. It chips away at their dignity, it shakes their confidence, and it quietly starts to erode their relationships. Most of them don't talk about it. They just push through, pretend everything's fine, and silently wonder what happened to the man they used to be. Some of them have tried pharmaceutical options, and look, those have their place. I prescribe them when appropriate. But they also come with side effects, dependency concerns, costs, and for many men, a feeling that they shouldn't need them in the first place. That's why I'm so passionate about this approach. It's a natural vascular vigor strategy. It targets 3 pillars at once: blood flow, hormonal balance, and cellular health. And it starts with your morning coffee. Let's count them down. Coming in at number 5 is cinnamon. And before you think this sounds too simple to matter, hear me out. You want to use about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon, and this part is important. Make sure it's Ceylon cinnamon. That's sometimes labeled as true cinnamon. The more common type you find on most grocery store shelves is cassia cinnamon, which contains higher levels of a compound called coumarin that can stress your liver over time, especially with daily use. Ceylon is milder, safer for regular consumption, and just as flavorful. Check the label or look in the spice aisle at a natural food store. So what does cinnamon actually do? First, it's a powerful blood sugar regulator. It helps your cells respond more efficiently to insulin, which means your glucose levels stay more stable throughout the morning. Why does that matter for a man over 50? Because when your blood sugar spikes and crashes, it doesn't just affect your energy. Over time, those repeated spikes cause something called glycation, where sugar molecules essentially bind to proteins in your blood vessels and damage them. And the tiniest vessels in your body, the ones responsible for circulation to the places that matter most, are the first to suffer. By adding cinnamon to your coffee, you're smoothing out that caffeine-driven spike. You're getting steadier energy with less jitteriness and less anxiety. The result? A more balanced, more even-keeled start to your day. You walk into work feeling composed instead of wired, and honestly, it makes your coffee taste incredible, like you ordered something special from a cafe. Cultures around the world have been adding cinnamon to their drinks for centuries, not just for flavor, but because they understood intuitively what science is now confirming. Number 4 is unsweetened cocoa powder. Just 1 teaspoon of pure dark cocoa powder stirred into your morning coffee, and this one is a game changer for blood flow. Cocoa is loaded with flavonoids, specifically 2 compounds called epicatechin and catechin. These flavonoids do something remarkable in your body. They stimulate the production of nitric oxide, that molecule I mentioned earlier, the one that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. When your vessels relax, blood flows more freely. More blood reaches your muscles, your brain, and yes, every other part of your body. One study found that regular cocoa flavonoid intake improved artery function by up to 30%. 30%. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a significant upgrade in how your vascular system operates. But there's a bonus here that I really love. Cocoa also contains compounds that boost what's sometimes called the bliss molecule, anandamide, along with other natural compounds that have mild antidepressant-like effects. So beyond the blood flow benefits, many men notice a subtle but real mood lift. You just feel a little brighter, a little more optimistic, a little more like yourself. Now, the key here is unsweetened. You're not dumping hot chocolate mix into your coffee. That would load you up with sugar and undo everything we're trying to accomplish. Pure cocoa powder. If the taste is too bitter on its own, a tiny bit of stevia can take the edge off without spiking your blood sugar. What you end up with is essentially a sugar-free mocha that's actually working for your health instead of against it. Number 3 is maca powder. This is where things start to get really interesting. Start with 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. If you're new to maca, begin with yellow maca, which is the most common and the mildest. As you get comfortable, you can experiment with black maca, which is traditionally associated with greater stamina and endurance benefits. Maca is what's known as an adaptogen. That means it helps your body adapt to stress and find balance, rather than pushing it in one extreme direction. Specifically, maca works on the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which is essentially the control center in your brain that regulates hormone production. It doesn't add synthetic hormones to your system. Instead, it supports your body's own ability to produce and regulate them more effectively. A 2009 study looked at men taking maca consistently over 12 weeks and found measurable improvements in both desire and overall performance. Not overnight, not from one dose, but steadily, over time, as the body adjusted and responded. And that's actually what I find most credible about maca. It's not a magic pill, it's a consistent, natural support system. What my patients often describe is a feeling like the lights came back on, not in some dramatic, exaggerated way, just a renewed sense of clarity, more motivation in the morning, a feeling of actually wanting to engage with the day rather than just getting through it. And flavor-wise, maca is a pleasant surprise. It has a nutty, almost butterscotch-like taste that pairs beautifully with coffee. Most people end up genuinely enjoying it. Number 2 is coconut oil or MCT oil. 1 teaspoon blended into your coffee. And I mean actually blended, not just stirred. If you stir it, you'll get an oil slick floating on top. If you blend it for 10 or 15 seconds, you get this creamy, almost latte-like texture that transforms the whole experience. Here's why this one makes the list. Your body needs healthy fats and cholesterol to produce testosterone. That's just basic biochemistry. Cholesterol is literally the building block from which testosterone is synthesized. When men cut all fat from their diets, which many do thinking it's the healthy choice, they can inadvertently tank their hormone production. Coconut oil and MCT oil provide those building blocks in a clean, efficient form. MCT stands for medium-chain triglycerides, and what's unique about them is that they're rapidly converted into energy by your liver. Unlike long-chain fats that take hours to process, MCTs are available almost immediately as fuel. So you're not just supporting testosterone production, you're also getting a clean, sustained energy source that doesn't spike your blood sugar. One study found that men who incorporated these healthy fats consistently showed higher testosterone levels compared to those on low-fat diets. There's another practical benefit here too. The fat from the oil slows down the absorption of caffeine. That means instead of a sharp spike followed by a crash, you get a longer, smoother curve of alertness and focus. Many men tell me they feel sharp and clear all the way through to lunch, and they're not reaching for snacks mid-morning either, because the fat provides a sense of fullness. One word of caution: if your stomach tends to be sensitive, start with half a teaspoon and work your way up. MCT oil in particular can cause some digestive discomfort if you go too hard too fast. Give your body a week to adjust. And now number 1, the top of the list: ginger. A 1/4 teaspoon of ginger powder or a thin slice of fresh ginger dropped right into your cup. This is the ingredient that ties everything together, and honestly, it might be the most underrated natural compound available to men over 50. Ginger contains active compounds called gingerols and shogalls, and these do 2 critical things. First, they're potent anti-inflammatory agents. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the silent drivers of aging, vascular stiffness, and performance decline. By reducing that inflammation daily, you're protecting the health of your blood vessels at a foundational level. Second, gingerols actively dilate blood vessels. They help those vessels open up and stay flexible, which directly supports circulation everywhere in your body. But here's where it gets really compelling. Ginger has been shown to protect the testes from oxidative stress. Oxidative damage is one of the key reasons testosterone production drops as men age. The cells responsible for producing testosterone get damaged over time by free radicals, and they become less efficient. Ginger helps shield those cells. A 2012 study found that men who supplemented with ginger saw their testosterone levels increase by an average of 17.7%. They also showed increases in luteinizing hormone, which is the hormone your brain sends to signal testosterone production. So ginger is essentially supporting the entire chain, from the brain signal all the way down to the production site. When you add ginger to your morning coffee, you feel it almost immediately. There's this warming sensation that spreads through your chest and your core. It feels like your whole system is waking up, not just your brain. It's invigorating in a way that caffeine alone simply isn't. Now, a quick caution here. If you have a particularly sensitive stomach, start with a smaller amount and build up gradually. And if you're on blood-thinning medication, talk to your doctor before adding ginger to your daily routine because it does have mild blood-thinning properties of its own. For most men, though, this is perfectly safe and incredibly effective. So those are the 5: cinnamon, cocoa, maca, coconut or MCT oil, and ginger. 5 ingredients, all natural, all available at your local grocery store, all backed by research, and all designed to work together in that cup of coffee you're already drinking. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds like a lot to add to a cup of coffee every morning. So let me give you a simple implementation plan that makes this effortless. Here's what I recommend. Take a small jar or container and pre-mix your dry ingredients: cinnamon, cocoa powder, and maca. Measure them out according to the doses we talked about. Mix them together and keep the jar right next to your coffee maker. Every morning, you scoop 1 teaspoon of the mix into your cup. That takes 5 seconds. Then you add your teaspoon of coconut or MCT oil, your quarter teaspoon of ginger or a fresh slice, blend or stir it up, and you're done. The whole process adds maybe 30 seconds to your morning routine. But if even that feels like a lot to start with, here's my 30-day phased approach. During the first week, just add cinnamon. That's it. 1 ingredient. Get used to the taste and the routine. Keep a simple journal, even just notes on your phone, where you jot down how your energy felt that day, your mood, and anything you noticed about your overall performance. In week 2, add cocoa powder. Week 3, add maca. Week 4, bring in the coconut oil and ginger. By the end of 30 days, you've built the full routine gradually, your body has adjusted, and you have a journal full of real personal data showing you exactly what's changed. That journal becomes your proof, not something I told you, something you experienced for yourself. Now listen, I want to leave you with something important. The changes that come with aging, they feel permanent. I know that. When your energy drops, when your performance shifts, when you look in the mirror and wonder where the years went, it's easy to believe that this is just how it's going to be from now on. But I'm telling you, after 12 years of working with men on exactly these issues, that is not true. So much of what you're experiencing is not irreversible decline. It's your body responding to what you're giving it, or more accurately, what you're not giving it. And these 5 simple upgrades to your morning coffee, they're not magic. They're not miracles, but they are the kind of small, consistent, science-backed, tradition-proven changes that add up to something profound over time. Your body wants to perform. Your vascular system wants to function well. Your hormones want to be in balance. Sometimes you just need to give your body the right raw materials and get out of the way. You deserve to feel vital. You deserve to wake up with energy that lasts. You deserve to feel like yourself again. And you don't need a prescription to get there. You just need a better cup of coffee. So here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below and tell me which ingredient you're going to try first. I read every single comment, and I'd love to know what you're starting with. If this video gave you something valuable, subscribe to the channel. I put out new tips like this every week, all focused on helping men live stronger, healthier, and more confident lives. And if there's a man in your life, a brother, a friend, a father, someone you think could benefit from hearing this, send them this video. You might not even need to say anything. Just share the link. They'll understand. Small changes made consistently lead to big results. And those results, they come with something no pill can give you: dignity. The quiet confidence of knowing you're taking care of yourself on your own terms. Stay strong, gentlemen. I'll see you in the next one.